Good evening. Welcome to EmoNews, every moment online. Here are tonight's stories. Portsmouth Secondary School students donate relief supplies to Kalinago territory families. Grenada launches affordable climate-smart housing under Project 500. St. Lucia government expands justice reform and crime prevention measures. Israeli drone strikes kill 8 south of Beirut amid rising regional tensions. Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark dies at age 29. And Mao Soccer Strikers FC edge Midham United for back-to-back victory. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Tico, that's $800. Cash or card?
When cash is low, Tico is still ready.
Always card, Chalo.
Would you like a copy of the receipt?
No, Chalo. NBD already sent me the alert and I'll see it on Mo Banking later. That is it. From card to farm.
Power your business with the NBD Small Business Credit Card. Your partner, your bank.
Welcome back. I'm Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 13th of May 2026. In our local stories this evening, Fine Foods Inc. has donated relief food supplies to the Kalinago Emergency Committee to support families affected by the recent trough system that caused widespread damage across the Kalinago territory. The donation forms part of the company's ongoing commitment to community support and disaster relief efforts throughout Dominica. The food supplies are expected to assist affected families as recovery and rebuilding efforts continue. Antoine Liverpool expressed solidarity with residents impacted by the disaster and highlighted the importance of collective support during difficult times. He stated that Fine Foods Inc. is committed to supporting the people and communities of Dominica and is pleased to assist the Kalinago Emergency Committee in bringing hope to those most affected. The donation was received by Committee President Vanti Auguste, who thanked Fine Foods Inc. for its timely contribution and partnership in helping vulnerable families during the recovery process. Students of the Portsmouth Secondary School recently participated in a donation drive to support families affected by the April 26 trough system in the Kalinago territory. The students collected food items, water, clothing, and other essential supplies for residents impacted by flooding and related damage in the affected communities. The donations were officially handed over to the Atkinson Village Council and the Kalinago Council on Tuesday. Our very own Emmeline Anselm of EmoNews assisted with delivering the items to the respective councils. Kudos to the students, staff, and everyone at Portsmouth Secondary School for demonstrating compassion, generosity, and community spirit during this difficult time for affected residents. Ms. Muta Matthew, chairperson of the Atkinson Village Council, has provided an update on the aftermath of the April 2026 trough system, noting that the community of Atkinson is still in need of supplies as recovery efforts continue. Ms. Matthews said residents are continuing to face challenges following the heavy rainfall and damage caused by the trough system, and she appealed for continued assistance and support for affected families.
The community has been grappling, as we say, with the aftermath because there are lots of, things are just different now. We have the families who no longer have their homes and they have to start afresh with everything. So it's heart-wrenching because a lot of them are not used to that. They are elderly, quite They have worked very hard for, for what they had, and so it's a very difficult moment for those people who were affected by this trough system.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about, how they are, the persons who were here sheltering. I know there was one lady and her son. Where is she now?
So presently she's, I have an apartment, so I housed her at that apartment. The government said that they're going to be paying rent for them, so we are not sure how long, but so far, all of the people who were affected are being housed at different apartments in the community.
She also expressed heartfelt gratitude to the many donors, organizations, and individuals who have contributed supplies and assistance to the community during this difficult period.
The donations we have received at the Atkinson Village Council is very, I have to say it's tremendous. We got donations from the government of Dominica, for the Prime Minister. We got through the Honorable Kozia Frederick, the parliamentary representative. We got from local government, the ODM, Dexia, the Red Cross, Ministry of Social Services and Welfare, Mr. Joshua Francis. We got help from Henderson's Poultry in Marigot, the St. Vincent de Paul Society. EMO, you have contributed. We got from Mr. Thompson Fountain and the supporters of the United Workers' Party. We also got support from NP Gasoline Station, Norma James, who is a resident who lives in Marigalan. We got support from Jungle Bay and Miss Laville from Portsmouth. So these are the number of people who have supported us thus far, and we are still awaiting some more assistance because the people who, moved and they had to start from scratch, there are lots of things that they still need.
Kalinago Chief, Miss Annette Sanford, has also provided an update on the aftermath of the April 2026 trough system in the Kalinago territory, highlighting the ongoing challenges facing residents affected by the disaster.
We have been, as a council, actively engaged in numerous recovery efforts throughout the community. Within the past few days, we have been conducting site visits. So we visited a number of households. So far, we have about 10 families who have been displaced.
Wow.
Some of their homes have been completely destroyed, and others, it's compromised. We have an additional 10 who, though their homes are compromised, they're still taking the risk living within the home, and we now have to think of relocating them. We have also done a lot of distribution of local basic supplies to the various vulnerable families, and I must say that we have been getting numerous support from both local and international organizations.
Chief Sanford confirmed that an organization from Guadeloupe donated 31,000 euros to the Kalinago Council to assist with recovery efforts within the territory. She also noted that many local businesses contributed cash donations and supplies to support affected families and communities as rebuilding continues.
What kind of assistance has the Village Council received thus far from the government, private citizens or NGOs?
Yes, we've received most support from the local businesses within Dominica and also from NGOs, I would say international. Our biggest, first I want to say the immediate responses were from people like Burton's and Company, ISA Trading, Mr. Gregor Nassif and his companies, people who have reached out, and there are many other individuals out of Dominica who have also reached out. So we've gotten basic supplies from some of the French countries. For example, Marigaland will receive a shipment of goods, water, home supplies, sheets, bedding. We've received financial donations from some organizations like Jungle Bay, and a huge donor from Corica, which is in Guadeloupe.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to raise 31,000 euros to assist the council with expenses within the community. So we are very grateful for the support. And I feel that, the council would be able to do quite a bit with the resources that we're getting. There are many other local individuals who have reached out as well. Off my head, I can't know all the names, but they have given donations, financial donations as well to the council.
The chief also called for consultations involving the Prime Minister, parliamentary representatives, and other government officials to address the urgent needs of the territory following the disaster.
And that is why it's so important to have some form of consultation with our parliamentary representative and the Prime Minister of Dominica and his team to discuss the way forward for our people. We have written to them. We wrote a letter last week asking for consultation with them, and we're following up with another letter this week to ask again for some time to meet and to discuss, because we need to address the urgent situation of these individuals, and we need to know exactly how we can respond more effectively.
According to Chief Sanford, many residents remain in serious need of housing, essential supplies, and other forms of assistance as families continue to recover from the devastation caused by the trough system.
Chief Sanford, what would be the immediate need of the Kalinago territory now?
Yes, so currently we do have people who still need basic supplies. Like I said, many of them have lost their homes. They need water, food. We are looking for persons to donate building materials as well, financial assistance to relocate these people, either temporary housing for them, and general supplies. For the bigger projects going forward, we are looking for support in any equipment that will help us better prepare for disaster. For example, a caterpillar.
Yeah.
These are the things that we need within our community to help us be more prepared to deal with the immediate landslides that we may get, etc. I'm also looking for support to get some tanks, some water tanks, storage tanks, to place within each community so that whenever the water truck passes, each community can be supplied with water. So instead of maybe trying to get cases of water, but also there are families who need water and they can't make it to the river also, they'll be able to come to that storage tank and get the water. So these are some of the things I'm looking at.
Also in local news this evening, at a press conference on Monday, Minister for National Security, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, said in no uncertain terms that there is no tiered system of justice in Dominica, stressing that anyone found responsible for a crime must be held accountable.
But we have to have the investigative tool and talent, insofar as human resource is concerned, to go after every player in the syndicate and let the chips fall where they're supposed to fall, and with the view of arresting everybody. There is no tier system in the justice system in this country to ensure that everyone responsible can be held to account and arrested.
The minister delivered a strong message to members of the court system, whom he believes are not imposing adequate penalties for criminal offenses. Mr. Blackmore said the responsibility to address the gun issue in Dominica does not rest solely with the government and the police force.
To frontally deal with this illegal gun and attendant crimes, frontally, that responsibility is not solely that of the government or the police force, but all the players within the criminal justice system.
The minister went on to cite an example of a matter which, according to him, was thoroughly investigated, yet resulted in what he described as only a pat on the wrist for an individual involved.
Coming out of excellent collective police work, a firearm was traced from its point of origin in Dominica. Working on the intelligence, the police responded, recovered the firearm, apprehended the suspect, 126 rounds of ammunition, a 9mm, with 2 magazines. You know what happened? The matter went before the court. and this person was basically given a pat on the hand, on the wrist, by the court.
He said incidents like these make the justice process laughable, and that such outcomes undermine the peace, security, and prospects for prosperity in the country.
We all live in Dominica. We all know about the prevalence of firearms crime. We all know that we have 2 gun amnesty programs. Anybody who made the rational decision to keep his illegal firearm intend to use that firearm. And if caught and convicted by the court, you should face the music, irrespective as to who you are. When these things happen, it dampens the spirit of the investigators or the police, and it gives people reason to keep their firearms.
And finally, in local news, the Rotary Club of Dominica is hosting the 31st Volunteer Optometric Services to Humanity, also known as VOSH, mission to Dominica from May 11 to May 14, 2026. The mission is providing eye care services to communities across the island through clinics being held at several locations. Members of the public are being encouraged to visit their respective health centers for pre-screening ahead of the clinics. Organizers say only clients who have been pre-screened and issued a number are being accommodated at the VOSH clinics. According to the Rotary Club, the pre-screening process is helping to ensure efficient service delivery and allowing as many patients as possible to benefit from the program. Persons seeking additional information are being advised to contact their nearest health center. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next.
Across our Caribbean, we're going digital, working smarter and living safer online.
In Dominica, we don't fall for fake prices. We check before we click.
In Grenada, we verify before we share, keeping our hard-earned money safe from hackers.
In St. Lucia, we report cyberbullying, protecting our children and each other.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we report scams fast, protecting our neighbors and our communities.
Together, we're building a cyber-smart Caribbean, keeping our people and our data safe, standing up to scams and cybercrime. We stay connected, but always alert. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. Stay smart, stay safe. Think Card TP. Visit cardtpconnect.org.
In regional news this evening, Grenada's Project 500 has officially announced the sale of homes in the first phase of its Dunfermline housing development, marking a significant step toward providing affordable, climate-smart housing for Grenadian families. Project sponsor Randall Doland said the initiative aims to help hardworking families who have been priced out of the traditional housing market home ownership. To qualify, applicants must be Grenadian citizens living in Grenada, at least 18 years old, earn a household income of no more than EC $7,500 monthly, and not already own residential property. The homes must also serve as the owner's primary residence. Officials noted that 50% of the homes will be reserved for families from St. Andrew, while the remaining units will be shared between public servants and private sector employees. The development features climate-smart homes equipped with solar energy systems, enhanced insulation, and low-flow plumbing fixtures. The community also includes roads, sidewalks, drainage systems, green spaces, utility connections, and parking spaces. Project 500 says lessons learned from the pilot phase will help guide future expansion of affordable and sustainable housing developments across Grenada. And now moving over to St. Lucia. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre says the government of St. Lucia is continuing to implement a multi-level approach to justice reform and citizen security aimed at strengthening law enforcement, improving the justice system, and addressing the root causes of crime. Speaking at Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Pierre outlined measures focused on both intermediate enforcement and long-term social intervention. He highlighted ongoing investments in police manpower, mobility, equipment, and operational support, along with continued collaboration with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
It will be announced in the budget. I'm going to give scholarships, 2 scholarships a year for policemen to go to study law, and they can be dedicated prosecutors. That's in the long run, but it's a step we've taken. We've enhanced the situation as it regards the forensic lab. The capabilities of forensic lab have been enhanced. The forensic lab is doing good work, and because of the resources they've had, they are doing more and more. We are building a house of justice to have all the courts in one place. It's a series of steps, but it's something that will take time. It's not a situation that you can fix today or tomorrow. It will take time. Many governments have tried, many governments are trying, but I'm saying to you, my government has taken some serious steps you can identifiable steps to cause the system of justice to be improved. Identifiable steps that we've taken.
The Prime Minister also pointed to efforts to strengthen forensic capabilities, enhance witness protection programs, revise the Evidence Act, and amend the Criminal Code. He noted that the Swift Justice Court and the continued development of the Hall of Justice project are expected to improve the efficiency of the judicial system and reduce court backlogs. Prime Minister Pierre stressed that crime cannot be addressed through enforcement alone and emphasized the importance of prevention, conflict resolution, and stronger social support systems. He said government initiatives include mentorship programs, after-school activities, youth and sports clubs, and support for vulnerable families and at-risk youth.
We must try our best to see if we can get our children from an early age to be able to control their emotions, to improve the way they deal with each other, so the environment will call for less intervention from the security forces. And this is why my government is paying special emphasis on early childhood education. That's why we are seeing what we can deal with school attendance at the forefront, at the basics, because we have to see if we can get less and less people to be exposed to the justice system. And this is why we are taking these steps. But it's a very complex situation that we have to work together. Civil society, the politicians, the press, work together situation. Because as I've always said, when these things happen, the country suffers. The immediate person will be the politician, the prime minister, but the country, ultimately is the country that is what will suffer.
Kioma Griffith has called for urgent action to tackle labor market challenges across the Caribbean during the 51st meeting of the CARICOM Council for Human and Social Development held on May 6. Minister Griffith highlighted concerns including labor migration pressures, informal employment, weak job creation, and skills gaps across the region. Ministers also discussed preparations for next month's International Labour Conference in Geneva. Officials reviewed plans to strengthen labor migration policies, improve regional cooperation, and support sustainable economic growth across the Caribbean. And finally, in regional news, U.S. water experts are exploring innovative solutions to support water management in St. Lucia and St. Kitts and Nevis through the Ambassadors Water Experts program. Experts Troy Worth and Doug Wilder met with local water authorities and schools in both countries to share U.S. Geographic Information Systems technology aimed at helping water-stressed islands better manage their fresh water resources. The initiative forms part of ongoing collaboration between the United States and Caribbean partners to strengthen regional resilience, improve water security, expand access to safe drinking water, and promote sustainable management of freshwater resources. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next. And now for international news. Pan American Health Organization has signed a landmark agreement with CSL Seqirus to reserve pandemic influenza vaccines for countries across Latin America and the Caribbean during future health emergencies. Announced on May 12, PAO says the deal will improve regional pandemic preparedness and speed up vaccine access during outbreaks. Part of the vaccine production will take place in Argentina through a partnership with Synergium Biotech to strengthen regional manufacturing capacity. Officials say the agreement is one of the first designed to improve vaccine access for middle-income countries and comes as global concerns grow over avian influenza and other emerging health threats. At least 8 people, including 2 children, were killed after Israeli drone strikes targeted vehicles along a major highway in Jaya, south of Beirut, on Wednesday, according to Lebanon's Ministry of Health. The strikes hit cars traveling on the highway linking Beirut to southern Lebanon, leaving vehicles badly burned and destroyed. The attacks come amid escalating tensions between Israeli and Hezbollah, with continued cross-border violence affecting communities in southern Lebanon. Lebanese authorities said the latest strikes add to a growing humanitarian crisis, with thousands displaced and pressure mounting on the country's healthcare system. Health officials reported that more than 2,800 people have been killed in Lebanon since the conflict intensified on March 2. Meanwhile, the Israeli military issued new displacement warnings for several southern Lebanese villages, urging residents to move away from areas expected to face military action. Lebanon and Israel are expected to hold another round of U.S. brokered negotiations in Washington on Thursday as efforts continue to ease regional tensions. And finally, in international news, the 2026 St. Thomas Carnival 2026 Adults Parade delivered a vibrant and unforgettable spectacle as thousands of revelers, masqueraders, and residents filled the streets in celebration of Caribbean culture and tradition. The parade featured dazzling costumes, energetic performances, and carnival royalty on full display, creating an atmosphere of excitement and pride throughout the route. A major highlight of the event was the tribute to the traditional Indians who proudly led the parade, honoring an important cultural tradition deeply rooted in the history of carnival celebrations. Albert Bryan Jr. and Telegenza A. Roach joined the festivities, celebrating alongside thousands of participants and spectators during one of the territory's most anticipated cultural events. The Adults Parade once again showcased the spirit, creativity, and unity that continue to make St. Thomas Carnival a major highlight on the Caribbean cultural calendar. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
New game in town. Get ready to match 5 and you can win 10K. Let's go. Play with just $2. Match 5 numbers from 1 to 29 to win. Draws every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. It's easy, fun, and local. Match 5, your local jackpot game. Dominican National Lottery.
And now for the sports segment. Lionel Messi remains Major League Soccer's highest paid player, earning US $28.3 million in guaranteed compensation with Inter Miami CF. Figures released by the MLS Players Association show Messi earns more than double the salary of the league's second highest paid player, Son Heung-min of Los Angeles FC. Messi, who recently extended his contract through 2028, has scored 59 goals in 64 MLS appearances since joining Miami in 2023 and won back-to-back league MVP awards. Brandon Clark, forward for the Memphis Grizzlies, has died at the age of 29. The team said it was heartbroken by Clark's passing, while Adam Silver described him as a beloved teammate and leader. A cause of death has not yet been released. Clark, a first-round pick in the 2019 NBA draft, played 309 NBA games and was named the NBA All-Rookie First Team in 2020. On the local scene, Mao Soccer Strikers FC secured back-to-back victories on Tuesday night after holding off a late comeback attempt from Middleham United FC to claim a thrilling 3-2 win at the DFA Technical Center. Mao Soccer Strikers controlled much of the encounter and built a strong advantage before Middleham United mounted a spirited fight back in the second half. Despite the pressure late in the match, Mao managed to stay composed and hold on for all 3 points. The victory continues Mao Soccer Strikers FC's strong run of form as the competition intensifies. And finally, in sports, the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association has announced the national under-23 3x3 basketball team that will represent Dominica at the ANOSYS Under-23 3x3 basketball tournament on May 16 and 17, 2026. The tournament will be held at the Multipurpose Sports Complex and will feature teams from across the Caribbean. The team will be led by coach Yannick Regis, while Yahundi John will serve as referee representative. Both will also participate in regional development workshops and clinics. DABA thanked the Dominica Olympic Committee for sponsoring the team's participation and encouraged the public to support the delegation as they represent Dominica on the regional stage. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next. And this concludes tonight's news broadcast for the 13th of May 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and on behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This has been Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good night.